So guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Look who it is. It's Salman in the house. Moving a little bit because, you know, Little Penny, you know, my boy Little Penny, you know, he says that you're always sitting like you're behind me. So look, come forward a little bit, because Little Penny picked that up last time. He goes that, how come your brother always sits like he's sitting like behind you? Or maybe I should go level with you. But come a little, let me move it a bit forward so then it looks a bit. Yeah, that's better. That's better. That's probably better. But yeah, Salman, there's a few issues we want to discuss. You know, we'll do them in separate videos. But Salman, Canelo Alvarez v Artur Beterbiev, you know, and you saw Artur Beterbiev fight. People are saying he's a monster. People are saying that this guy's a killer. Canelo will get knocked out if he fights Artur Beterbiev. He's a big 175 pounder. He punches like an animal. He looks like Khabib. He fights like Khabib. You know, he's an absolute beast of a man. He comes from Russia. They say that Canelo can't go anywhere near this guy. You know, Canelo, he'll destroy Canelo. This, that, and the other. Canelo isn't big enough to fight Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev will beat him. That's why a lot of boxing fans are saying they're going to say Canelo's going to duck him like anything. You've watched Artur Beterbiev, right? I remember telling you last Friday that Artur Beterbiev is fighting and you got excited. You wanted to see the fight. But the fight was too late and you said, I'm not staying up till 4 o'clock. What did you think of Beterbiev's performance against Brown? The way he beat Brown down and Brown headbutted him. And Beterbiev had a nasty cut. And the cut almost made Beterbiev more angry. And he battered Brown all over the ring. What do you make of Beterbiev's chances against Canelo Alvarez? A lot of people had Beterbiev favourite to knock Canelo out. What do you think?
Well, I didn't think, you know, it was a good performance. He knocked the guy out. But, you know, you got to realise, like, he's not fought anyone. You know, he's not fought anyone. There's no one on his resume that's anywhere close, anywhere good as Canelo. I'm sorry, but, you know, I think he's knocked out every single opponent he's been in the ring with, but you've got to realize who's he been in with. Like, that's a killer at that weight. You know, he's not fought Kovalev. He's not fought Bivol, but the top guys, the best guys at the weight is Bivol. He's not fought Bivol yet. You know, there's other good guys at the weight. Probably he hasn't fought. How many belts does he hold? Two. So, but obviously, Govzik, no one knows who that is. I've never heard of him. So I've never even seen the guy fight. So I don't know how good he is. But what my point is, you know, I don't think personally, you know, if people are saying he knocks Canelo out, I want to see that. I want to see Canelo.
Someone, you know who Adonis Stevenson is?
I know who Adonis Stevenson is.
Govzik knocked Adonis Stevenson out. So he must be.
That's cool. But that doesn't mean that just because that guy knocked Adonis Stevenson out, that I thought Beterbiev's going to knock in prime Canelo out. That don't mean that. Canelo's a different animal right now. And would you say that? I wouldn't say Adonis Stevenson's better than Canelo. No way. I think Canelo.
You don't think you don't
skill. He's got good skill.
No. You don't think if Adonis Stevenson hits Canelo with that left hand that destroyed everybody, that Canelo wouldn't be in trouble?
Yeah, it might get hurt, but you got to realize.
Okay. Would Canelo beat a prime Kovalev?
No, I don't think so. He nearly lost to. Well, he's having a very tough fight against out of prime Kovalev. But I think in prime Kovalev beats all these guys. Beterbiev, I think he beats Bivol. I think he beats all of them. But you got to realize now he's gunshot. He's not the same fighter he used to be. You know, he was in his prime 2012, he was in his prime 10 years ago. But the thing is, Kovalev's obviously Beterbiev fighting Kovalev now. I would heavily favour Beterbiev now, because Kovalev's finished. He's at the end of his career. He's a lot older.
Yep.
You know, he's not taking it as serious.
Let's come back to Beterbiev and Canelo then. Let's talk Beterbiev Canelo. Talk to me.
I just don't think he's going to be able to walk forward like how he was against Brown. You got to realize these guys don't have anything to keep him off. They don't have the skill level. They don't have the head movement to make him miss. They don't have the things that Canelo possesses. Canelo punches hard as well. You know, he's not going to allow Beterbiev just
Can he hurt Beterbiev?
Yes. If Callum Johnson can hurt him, then Canelo can definitely hurt him.
Ray said that Callum Johnson hits harder than Canelo.
No, bullshit. That's nonsense. Callum Johnson does not punch harder than Canelo. No way. Canelo's a different animal to Callum Johnson, and he's not. The difference is Callum Johnson's resistance. As soon as he gets hit, he goes down. Canelo don't go down. He's not going down. You know, he sparred bigger guys than Beterbiev. He fights bigger guys.
Okay, what you're saying, Ray made a good point that Callum Johnson hits harder. What are you basing that Canelo hits harder than Callum Johnson on?
I'm basing that on, Canelo's knocked people, rendered them cold. I've never seen Johnson render anyone cold. So you got to realize that, and you got to realize that it's not just. I've heard people like heavyweights sparring him. They say Canelo punches hard. So if they're saying Canelo punches on, they're big heavyweights. Then I personally think he could knock Beterbiev out. I'm gonna be honest. If he catches him correctly, and Beterbiev gets under his skin during the press conferences and stuff, it'll edge Canelo on even more.
Beterbiev ain't gonna get under Canelo's skin because Beterbiev, these Eastern Europeans don't do that. They're like Khabib. They don't talk a lot.
I think either way, Canelo can beat him. Personally, he could outbox him, or he could. But I just think Canelo's skills are better than him, and Canelo, he's not going to be able to keep rushing in, because Canelo can punch really hard. He's not going to listen. People, if they think that this Beterbiev is like a Golovkin, then let's see. The difference is with Golovkin.
They're saying he's 10 times, he's bigger than Golovkin. Is Beterbiev better than Golovkin? Would Golovkin beat Beterbiev? Prime Golovkin?
Yeah, no, 100%. There's no way he beats.
You think a prime Golovkin beats Beterbiev at 175?
Yes. I don't think. I personally, wow. I need to see. I just want to see Beterbiev in more wars like the Johnson one, but against guys that aren't going to fall back down. I don't rate him that highly.
Yeah, but what makes you think that? Okay. Who has Canelo fought that hits as hard as Beterbiev?
Golovkin.
Nah, that's. How can you say a 160 pounder hits harder than a 175 pounder? Beterbiev's a knockout merchant at 175.
Yeah, but maybe he is. But I just still don't think he's in terms of his boxing ability, in terms of his chin. It's not better than Golovkin. It's not better than Golovkin. Golovkin's an animal, man. The guy gets hit with the biggest shots you'll ever see, and he doesn't go down. I seen Beterbiev get put down, and he was wobbly on his legs against Johnson, and Johnson was old. Johnson's old. He got cracked and his legs were all over the place. I've seen Canelo be wobble, but this was when he was 15 years old. I've never seen the guy wobble after that. And that goes to show you those two, Golovkin and Canelo, they got the best chins in the business, no matter what weight. You tell me, I've seen Golovkin being hit with absolute haymakers.
What's Johnson old got to do with his punching power?
Because you got to realize that he's not the same fighter. He fought a shot fighter. It's not like he fought in prime Johnson or. No,
but what's an in prime Johnson? It's not like Johnson was a multi-weight world champion, is it?
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that obviously Johnson was obviously a lot better 6-7 years ago.
But how do we know that he was better 6-7 years ago? We don't know that.
And you got to realize that as you just mentioned, Johnson wasn't no killer. That he fought some killer and he beat him to the pulp. Let's see when he fights.
Johnson.
Johnson can punch, but. You got to realize, if Johnson's such a killer, we'll see when he fights Anthony Yard or whatever.
No, he's fighting Joe Smith next.
Or whatever, Joe Smith or whatever. I think Joe Smith will probably beat him, personally. I think Joe Smith's the guy that knocked Bernard Hopkins out, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think Joe Smith's got some skills, but let's see. I don't know. Let's see. I probably favour Joe Smith, but I don't if he gets in there with Canelo and beats Canelo to the pulp, and then I'll obviously say that, all right, fair enough, this guy is a killer, but I just don't see him personally, what you're saying, that people are saying that he's knocking Canelo out. He could out-hustle Canelo to a point to him, but he ain't knocking Canelo out, man. No way. Nah, he's not knocking Canelo out.
So how would you see, so I'm trying to, register a few things you're saying. You're basically saying that. You're basically saying that. So what do you think of Beterbiev as a fighter then?
I think he's a good fighter, but he's only fought 17 times yet. He's still got a long way to go. I want to see more. I want to see him in more wars. I want to see him, fight. But the thing is, you can only fight what's at your weight. You can't blame the guy. He's beat everyone that's been put in front of him. What's the best at the weight. Marcus Brown, Badu, those type of guys. They're the best at the weight. You know, otherwise it's going to have to be people moving up weight to fight him. There's not much he can do unless he moves up weight. You know, he's going to have to move up weight.
Let me put a name out there. Beterbiev v Callum Smith. He's moved to 175.
Yeah, I would like to see that fight. I think that'd be a good fight. I think that'd be I don't think it will be. I don't think Beterbiev has Canelo's skills. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided whooping, because I think Callum Smith is massive. I think Callum Smith punches quite hard as well. He's got enough power to keep Beterbiev off. I would love to see that fight, and I think it'd be a lot more competitive than the Callum Smith Canelo fight.
Who you got winning that fight?
Probably Beterbiev, to be honest, because he's a natural 175. But I think it's a good fight. Way more closer than what the Canelo one was. I don't think it's just.
Do you think Callum Smith's a harder fight than Marcus Brown?
Yeah, I think so. I think he is. He's better, in my opinion. I think because you've got to realize this guy was he was undisputed, whatever. He won the thing, Ali Trophy. You know, he was a good fighter, but he just came against a pound for pound great, and he lost.
But Salman, who did Callum Smith beat? He beat George Groves.
Yeah, but what my point is that he lost to a pound for pound great, but he beat all the rest of the guys that he needed to fight.
And who were they?
All the other guys, I don't know, but you know, he beat all the other guys to win. You know, he was still the top dog.
I can't even remember who he fought in that Ali Trophy. Like, he fought Scotland or I don't know. He didn't even fight. He didn't even fight. Like they were. You know, his route to the final was really easy, and then he beat injured George Groves. So, are you telling me that guy has a good chance against Beterbiev?
I think he punches hard. I think Callum Smith has power.
So you're telling me he can beat Beterbiev if he lands on his chin. Beterbiev has gone down, but you I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know either, because I don't really. Like, even with Callum Smith, you know, yeah, he had one good performance against George Groves, but we don't really know how good he really, because he's not really fought anyone after. Like, Canelo just played with him, really. It was just child's play. But we don't really know. He needs to fight. He needs to fight, you know, fighters that we can. I'm not sure about these guys. Callum Smith, until he fights someone at 175 of any note, then we can start saying that, oh yeah, he is going to be a problem. But at the minute, he's not fought anyone at 175.
So let me talk about a name, Anthony Yarde.
Yeah.
You know, what do you make of Anthony Yarde? Do you think Anthony Yarde has any?
I think Anthony Yarde's a good fighter, but I think he's going to struggle at the top level. In terms of, I just can't see him winning at the elite level where he's going for. If he goes for championships, I think he'll probably fall just short. I just think he's just a bit level below. He's a very good fighter, don't get me wrong, gave Kovalev work, but you know, he got knocked out against Kovalev, and Kovalev was finished at that point, let's be honest. That was his best chance to win as champion.
Kovalev gave Canelo work in that fight as well.
That's what I'm saying, but obviously Anthony Yarde got knocked out, though. He was on his back and he was gone. Whereas Canelo, you know,
had him on his back.
No, it's not even about that. It's that Canelo wasn't hurt or wobbled at any point or got hurt in that fight. He just wasn't. You know, Kovalev hit Yarde with so many good shots, and you know, you could tell that, you know, it stung him. Whereas with Canelo, it was just Canelo just knew the time was coming. He was fading. He was just waiting for his moment. And then just took him out, you know. But yeah, Anthony Yarde, I think against those fresh guys like Biv Holland, I just don't think he cuts it. Maybe if there's a weaker champion, maybe he could.
What about Joe Smith?
Yeah, but he's not a champion, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Joe Smith's a champion, yeah.
I'd probably favour Joe Smith against Anthony Yarde as well. I think Joe Smith's good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these guys, because no one knows no one really knows Joe Smith. He's not really a big name, so people just think that, oh no, he must be just a walkover. But I think Joe Smith would. I think Joe Smith would beat Anthony. I think any of those champions.
I'd agree. What about Joe Smith is fighting Callum Johnson? How do you see that one playing out?
I think it's a great fight, but then again, I think Joe Smith's gonna win, because Joe Smith's a killer. Joe Smith's a good fighter. He's got good hands. He's got good speed. I don't know. I just think he'll beat Callum Johnson. I think Callum Johnson's obviously trying to win another world title, but I don't.
Never won a world title, or he's going for another.
I think he'll come short. I can't see him beating Joe Smith. Joe Smith's tough as well as nails. He's not one of those guys where he's gonna go down easily. He's very tough. I don't
But
know.
that's probably Callum Johnson's best chance of winning a world title.
Probably, but I don't think he will win it because he's old now and I don't think he's going to win it personally.
Yeah, so
It'd have to be a career best performance.
So break it down then. Canelo v Beterbiev, who wins?
I think Canelo wins. What were you asking me? A prediction?
Yeah, prediction.
I think Canelo on points. Because I don't think Canelo's power at that weight is going to be crazy how it is at the lower weights. I don't think Canelo's just going to go boom on his chin and he's going to be out. No. I'm sorry, but Canelo doesn't have that sort of power at 175 where he's just going to go boom and he's out. He didn't even have that power at 168, let's be honest. Who was he knocking out cold at once? No one. He doesn't have that power at that weight. But at 175, no, he's not. I think he'll win. I think he'll win on points.
All right. Salman, before we go on to our next video, which will be about Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko. I gave it away, but who cares? But I want to talk a bit about Brook. I don't know whether you saw the Simon Jordan and Kell Brook and Spencer Oliver, and they were talking about Amir Khan and Kell Brook and Spencer Oliver, who's actually a boxing expert, who's actually a European champion. Simon Jordan was basically saying to Kell Brook's face, he said it to his face on radio, that I think Amir Khan's a better fighter than you. I think he'll beat you. And Kell Brook didn't obviously take very kind to that. And he responded, he came back ferociously. And then Spencer Oliver, who was actually the boxing expert, actually said, that Amir Khan and Kell Brook have had the similar kind of careers. They've had careers on similar level. And he also said that he basically said that, Amir Khan, Kell's got better IQ. He's got better IQ. He's the better boxer. He's got a better chin, which we all agree with. He has got a better chin. And basically that Khan runs out of ideas after 2-3 rounds. I wanted to get your opinion on that. What do you make of that opinion by Oliver and Simon Jordan?
Obviously, you got to realize those guys seem a bit biased there, but if he has more boxing IQ, listen, I'll be honest, in terms of boxing IQ, I don't think there's many fighters that have the skill level or IQ. If you're gonna talk about chin and that's not got anything to do with IQ. Having a chin's your chin.
Yeah.
Boxing IQ, you can't tell me that Kell Brook has a better boxing IQ than a guy that was an Olympic silver medalist. I'm sorry, at the age of 17 years old. Kell Brook couldn't even dream of doing that. I'm sorry, but he's not on that level. He doesn't have the... People are looking at Khan now. They're not looking at how he was before. He was a very, very... he basically said that the Khan that fought Alexander, man, he would batter Kell Brook, man. I can't even put it into words. Like, what he was saying was so true that he would. Like, Kell Brook doesn't beat that Amir Khan. I'm sorry, but it's not even that I'm being biased or anything. He doesn't beat. He'd get absolutely played with. But
the thing is,
Kell Brook doesn't possess anything.
You don't rate Kell Brook that highly. You've never been a big fan of Kell Brook. But why is that? So tell us now today, because there's all going to be Brook fans that come onto this video, as you know. Why is it that you don't? Why is it that you don't rate Kell Brook that highly?
I can answer this in one question. Name me one good fighter he's beaten easily. There you go then. I can name you loads of good fighters that Khan's beaten quite convincingly. Devin Alexander, absolutely. Everyone knows what happened. I've not seen Devin Alexander be played like that. That was on a different level. That was, I don't know where. Look what he did to Maidana. He won that, and it was a tough fight. But you got to realize Maidana gave Mayweather problems. That was a tough fight for Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, right? And Khan won that. Was it unanimous decision? Yeah, it was a unanimous decision, right? Who else did Khan play with?
Zab Judah.
Zab Judah. Kell Brook don't have the skill. I don't care if Zab Judah was at the end of his career. But listen, Kell Brook doesn't have the skill level to play with Zab Judah. Let me tell you that. He doesn't. He doesn't possess that skill, that talent. As Amir Khan said to him in the press conference, that, when I was sparring you, I spar with one hand because I was just so much better than you. Sometimes, people keep bringing up the chin and this, that, the other. Yeah, you can bring that up when he's fighting an Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. because those guys are elite in their own right.
But Salman, here's the thing. So I'm gonna play Brook. I'm gonna play inside of Brook. Yeah. Okay. But people are gonna say Brook had power, and Amir Khan was a smaller guy. He didn't have the greatest chin, and if Brook hit Khan, it would have been game over.
Brook has power. Who's Brook knocked out? Or I've never seen him wobble any good fighters. Or if he's got so much power, then we would have seen the power. I've never seen his power. You know what?
Did he knock out Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizier, and did he knock out like all those guys?
Didn't Amir Khan knock those type of guys out? He knocked out the Greco in a round. He put Vargas down a couple of times, 2-3 times. You know, people make out as if Khan's not blistered people out. I've seen Khan's got decent power as well. He put Maidana down. If he doesn't have power, then you know, let me tell you something. Kell Brook don't put Maidana down. No way. No way. He doesn't punch hard enough. He doesn't put, like, people keep saying he punches hard. Let me tell you something. I personally think, you know, if Khan gets on top of Brook, the only way Brook can win, I'm being honest with you, if Khan just switches off. That's the only way. He can't win. If Khan, you know, starts schooling him and just starts playing with him.
So people are going to say, how is Khan going to get past Brook's jab?
That's nonsense. You know, so what? None of the other good fighters that he had good jabs. You know, it's just, it's crap. Like, it's just nonsense. You know, Brook's not even going to, you know, you got to realize Khan's fought many fighters that have good jabs. You know, a lot of fighters that he's fought have good jabs. You know, Brook's jab, what's that going to do? He's just going to evade it and hit him with like 5-6 shots. While Brook throws one jab, Khan's going to throw 3-4 at once. And the thing is, Khan's got a bit between his teeth in this fight. And I think he wants to shut a lot of people up that, listen, man, I'm levels above this guy. And I think if the best version of Amir Khan turns up and he switches on, I personally think, deep down, I think he'll win this fight if he comes with the right game plan. He comes thinking, I'm just going to box. I can't see. And he comes fit, and he's ready for a grueling 12 rounds. I don't think Brook's going to win. I think Brook will get outboxed quite comfortably, personally. I don't think... The thing is, if Amir Khan wants to stand there and trade, then it's a 50-50 fight. But if he's fit and he's you know, and I think he's already in great shape. I can already see his body. He's going to come in.
Are you underselling Brook a little bit? Are you underselling Brook?
No, listen, I'm only going off who Brook's fought and, you know, the wins he has had. So he will be... His best win, let's be honest, Brook's best win was against Sean Porter. And I think he lost that fight personally. I think Sean Porter did enough. A lot of people say that, Brook had him behind the jab. But I think Brook was very selective in what he threw, but I don't think he threw enough. I don't think it wasn't clear and convincing that he won that fight. I don't think he won that fight. I think to take the belt, you've got to win. He didn't win. He didn't go and take the belt. I think look, Sky Sports had him losing the fight by 1 round. So that tells you all. You know, your own broadcast isn't going to have you winning.
To be honest, a lot of Brook fans are going to jump on that because they do make out that Kell Brook schooled Porter.
Oh,
but I will say this, that you know what, Ryan Rhodes, who was Kell Brook's stablemate, he was in the studio with Amir Khan, and even he said, I think the fight was probably deserved a draw at the time. But you see, when you're trying to push somebody up, you forget about those things because they were trying to push Kell Brook up. That fight was very close, but people afterwards put that to one side, like Kell Brook schooled him and he schooled Porter, when really he didn't school Porter. It was a very close fight. I, unlike you, thought probably Brook maybe edged it, you know, in a very close fight.
Maybes. You know,
whatever, like, I get that. But Porter's a really good fighter. You know, nobody's had it easy with Porter. You know, we've seen Porter's career. Nobody's had it easy with Porter. You know, so we've got to give Brook credit because Brook that night showed that he was class in the sense that he was at that level where he could compete with your Thurmans, your Spencers. And even when he fought Spence, he got beat, yes. But at least he proved that he belongs in that level. Because before he fought Porter, let's be honest, we didn't even know if Kell Brook belonged at that level. So the fact is, Kell Brook proved that night that he belonged at that level. But what I want to ask you is about Kell Brook. Where did it go wrong? Because you're sitting here saying you don't rate Kell Brook, you're not this, that, the other. But there was a fighter there. There was a good fighter there. There's no doubt about it. He had skills. Even if you were saying he was not
saying he's a crap fighter, but I don't think he was ever a, you know, I think he was a okay fighter. Okay. He's not done anything in his career where you can say oh wow, like, you know, he as I said, he lost to Errol Spence. He got knocked out against Errol Spence. He got knocked out to Golovkin, and you know, he got knocked out to Terence Crawford.
A lot of Brook fans say he didn't get knocked out. He got stopped.
Yeah, but either way, he got stopped. He got forced into quitting or whatever. He still got forced into doing what he had to do. You know, Golovkin that was just going one way after that. Luckily,
I want to ask you about that Golovkin fight, Salman. Let's talk.
That messed him up.
No, that did mess him up, of course. But Salman, I want to ask you a question. Kell Brook took the Golovkin fight. He took the Gennady Golovkin fight.
Do you know why he did that?
But there was an opportunity for him to become a unified champion at welterweight. Now, I have a subscriber called SF2X Plus, and he says, Imran, Kell Brook wasn't in a position financially like Amir Khan. He had no choice but to take that fight to secure his family's future, right?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons, but the other reason.
But the thing is, he goes that the Jesse Vargas fight wasn't paying him enough, although he might have beaten Jesse Vargas and become a unified champion.
Yeah.
Kell Brook needed to fight Gennady Golovkin because, you know, Kell Brook
wanted
didn't have
money. Yeah, for sure.
But do you think he missed a trick by not fighting Jesse Vargas and becoming a unified? Because if he had become unified champion, all of a sudden he would have left Amir Khan behind. All of a sudden, Kell Brook would have been a unified champion in a weight division where Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather are the other champions. He would have become a very valuable asset in a very, very rich division.
Exactly.
So do you think that even though Kell Brook went for the money, and I get what you're saying, SF2X Plus, I get what you're coming from, but did Kell Brook look at the short term rather than look at the long term at what he could have got?
Yeah, but it's obvious what he's done. You know, he was obviously gonna more likely beat Jesse Vargas than he was gonna beat Gennady Golovkin. But who else fought in that same year and took a risk like that?
Khan.
Exactly. And then what did he look at? That he took the risk. Yeah, he got knocked out. Maybe if I just go jump in there, take the risk, and it pulls off of me, then Khan's like, you know, but as Khan said, he's very bitter. Kell Brook is bitter of Amir Khan. He's not going to say it. He's not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm bitter. But I just feel like, even Khan said, there's no way that Kell Brook in a million years, he doesn't even have like anything that, he's not even more skillful than Golovkin, let alone, like, at least with Khan and Canelo, Khan actually genuinely thought that I can win this fight. I could potentially outbox him, and obviously he got caught, and he was doing it well up to that point. But, you know, apart from a few like good punches that Brook threw against Golovkin, it was fairly one-way traffic. I knew that was going to happen. He's going to get forced to stop, because Golovkin at the end was he was battering.
Yeah, I will say this, that Canelo wasn't battering Khan
no way.
Like,
no way.
Golovkin was battering Brook in terms of that fight. But remember, Golovkin has a different style as well. Golovkin's a pressure fighter. Canelo was fighting Khan more as he wasn't really stalking Khan like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is, you got to realize Khan still had the ability to outbox Canelo for the however many rounds. How many people have you ever seen outbox Canelo like that? I've not, apart from Floyd Mayweather, which obviously people say he's the greatest, you know, of all time, some people. So you got to realize, apart from that, I've not seen Canelo in that sort of situation where he had to look for that one shot. Canelo had to look for that one shot. He was, you know, he had to look for it because...
But he was setting it up, though.
He was setting it up, of course.
But
my point is, Canelo knew that he needed to get the knockout. He wasn't going to win by just... you know, just boxing. But
he was fairly comfortable. He knew it was coming.
Yeah, he knew it was coming. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
he knew it was coming. Yeah. But so what I'm saying is about Brook is the fact that
Brook just got battered.
No, he got battered against Golovkin, and it ruined his career subsequently. But do you think we could have been talking about a different fighter if
he had fought the Jesse Vargas? Because then he would have done what's right for his career.
Would he have beaten Jesse Vargas?
He could have, he could have. Don't get me wrong, Jesse Vargas a good fighter as well. He's not a walkover by any, you know.
But you would favour Brook in that fight?
Yeah, coming off the Porter win, you would favour, Kell Brook. But the thing is, obviously, he's kind of, you know, what he's done, he's chosen the money, and obviously, he wanted to be someone that, he's just jumped up weight, and he wanted to be a hero, basically.
Here's the thing though. If he had beaten Jesse Vargas, do you think the opportunities would have come to Kell Brook?
I don't think he would have got a Mayweather fight, no. But, however,
A Pacquiao fight?
yeah, because obviously Pacquiao would see him that, he's a unified champion. You know, there's a reason for me to fight him here. But the thing is...
Do you think Amir Khan would have come to the table?
Yeah, because he would have been a unified champion. He would have had no reason not to. You know, he would have beaten Sean Porter, then he would have beaten Vargas. Then he's got 2 belts and Khan has a reason to fight him.
You know what? Actually, when Brook fought Golovkin, Danny Garcia was the other champion, and I think it might have been Keith Thurman. But Brook had an opportunity to fight Jesse Vargas in a unification fight, and but you know, people say financially he had no choice. You know, he needed to make whatever. But I don't know, man. I still think Brook missed a trick. Brook missed a trick. There's no doubt.
At the end of the day, obviously, you know, as a fighter, you think you're better than you actually are. It's just human nature. You know, no one... But the thing is, his trainer should have really... But then again, the trainer's going to... You know, the trainer probably gave him the right advice. Don't take this fight against Golovkin. But, you know, Brook probably thought, no, I'm taking it. You're either with me or not. And then obviously his trainer was with him, but it wasn't the right decision for his career. And I don't think the Canelo fight was the right decision for Amir Khan's career. I think he should have rematched Danny Garcia, because I think he would have beaten Danny Garcia, because he wouldn't have made the same mistake this time. I think he would have gone to a conclusive, unanimous decision against Danny Garcia and got his belt back or whatever.
So Amir Khan beats Danny Garcia. Kell Brooks beat Jesse Vargas. They both fight for 3-belt unification fight.
There you go then. But obviously it didn't really pan out like that. They obviously took the punt, you know. I actually thought that Khan had a better chance beating Canelo than Brook did Golovkin, because of they're just skill level.
To be honest, let's be brutally honest. Neither of them had a shot.
Neither of them had a shot. But if we're talking about who had the better shot, if the miracle came off, it would have
probably if he.
I wouldn't say it's probably.
I gave Khan 90.
Let's be honest.
5% chance. I gave Brook 2.5% chance. Still no chance.
When they were in there, like when Khan was in there, a lot of people, once the fight had started, after 3 rounds had gone, you thought, it could be.
It's a 12-round fight. It's a 12-round fight against Canelo. We know how good Canelo was.
And he's massive as well, and he's way bigger.
Exactly. Brook had no chance because Golovkin was just going to pressure him, and Golovkin was knocking out middleweights at that point. Golovkin was beating guys up. He was brutalizing guys.
I don't know with the Brook situation. I don't know what his game plan would really be to beat Golovkin. How would he beat him? Outbox him? Like, he's not going to outbox him because he's not better than him skillfully, anyways. With Khan, you knew, all right, there's a game plan here. Like, yeah, you could outbox the guy. But with Brook, there was literally there was no. We weren't going to outbox Golovkin, and nor was he going to knock Golovkin out. So it was like, yeah.
But you know what the worst thing was? Brook, because Brook had a better chin than Amir Khan.
Yeah.
So Brook actually ended up taking more punishment.
Yeah. He just got beaten up on the ropes. He was just getting pasted.
So because if Golovkin hit Amir Khan, the chances are Amir Khan probably would have been knocked out.
He'll go to sleep, really. That's
what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that Brook, because he had a better chin, he took so much punishment, and in the end, he ended up damaging his brain, his eyes. I don't know what might have been damaged. You know, that guy was a beast at that point. You know, I think that was a terrible. I don't know how they took that fight. That was terrible, man. That was terrible. I don't know how. Like, remember, he didn't just fight Golovkin. He fought a monster puncher at middleweight. Like, we're talking. Like Keith Thurman said. Remember, Keith Thurman said, you haven't even fought a big puncher at welterweight, and you're jumping up to middleweight to fight a big puncher.
That was stupid, man. It's just bizarre, man. Like, you know, he's right. Keith Thurman's right that, you know, you're going up fighting a big puncher at middleweight, but how do you know you can even take a big puncher's punch? Like, he's still not fought, like, apart from Spence, and Spence stopped him. Yeah. Spence is seen like he's got a good power, but Spence is no one-punch knockout artist. But you got to realize that he struggled to take Spence's power in the end, and that goes to show you that, you know,
he took it, but Spence wore him down.
Yeah, he wore him down, but then Golovkin, Spence's power is nothing. Like, Golovkin punches way harder than Spence, man. Golovkin's a middleweight. He's big, he's strong, he pressurizes you, he puts the work in. Yeah, it was not a good fight. I think that messes you up, man, when you get beat up like that. It's just psychologically it messes you up when you get beat up like that. And even Khan, like when he got knocked out against Canelo, a lot of people will feel like, well, think like, you know, saying that can Khan really, like that was brutal.
It. That was it. The Golovkin fight was end for Brook, and the Canelo fight was end for their guys at world level. Brook put in a good performance against Spence in the sense that he stayed competitive, but it was always uphill. You know, it was end of their careers. And after the Spence fight, Brook was basically at world level, wasn't a world level guy anymore, and Khan wasn't a world level guy after Canelo. Unfortunately, that's just what happens when you take too many injuries or knockout losses. But yeah, guys, leave your thoughts. What do you guys make of it? You know, maybe me and Salman one day when Kell Brook and Amir Khan retire, we'll go into full detail about both of their careers from the start as a debut to their finishing line. But you know, disappointing. I think Khan achieved more than Kell Brook, but Brook could have achieved a lot more. But Brook, unfortunately, you know, he didn't get the opportunities financially, and his career panned out the way it panned out, you know, and he underachieved, you know, and that's just what it is, in my opinion. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.